guys, today I'm filming a chit chat get ready with me featuring all of the items from my current winter project pan. I will have that playlist linked up in the card so you can see where I'm starting out in all of these products. I'm filming this video a little bit early, so hopefully I won't spoil too much of my progress for my first update, but I have used all these products together for a couple weeks now, so I have developed my thoughts on them. So I am just going to get started with my primer. So I am using the Too Faced Hangover RX primer, and I am just applying this all over. So this is like a hydrating lotion consistency. It does have a light coconut scent, which is nice, but this is just nice and hydrating. I think this would be great for dry skin, but because I'm not as oily as I typically am, look how face my red gets. Look how red my face gets when I rub it. But anyway, I'm able to get away with this hydrating of a primer because my skin isn't as oily as usual, but this wouldn't typically be something that I would go for. Then for my pore filling primer, I'm using the Cover Effect Blurring Primer. I'm almost out of this, so I'm just trying to get out every little bit I can without cutting it open, because I don't love it that much to cut it open. So I've got it just mushed between my fingers here. I'm gonna press this into my large pores, smooth over towards the outside of my face. I can't tell if I'm gonna finish this by the end of December or sometime in January, but we will see. Right now, when I'm filming this, it is December 20th. Doesn't feel like that much left, but I really don't use that much either. And recently this has been balling up on my skin a bit, so I'm not sure what's causing that. So I'm going to be careful to just press it and not rub it into my skin. For foundation, I'm using a combination. I'm using the Estee Lauder Double Wear in 1W1 Bone, and to lighten it up a bit, I am using this deluxe sample size of the MakeUpForEver Matte Velvet Skin Foundation in Y205. So I am going to take 2 pumps of the Estee Lauder foundation on this little Cosmo Cube mixing palette and try to squeeze out a good bit of that as well, because the Estee Lauder is about a full shade too dark for me, so that does really help. And luckily both of these have a nice yellow undertone. The Estee Lauder is a pretty thin consistency, but the MakeUpForEver is a little thicker, so they mix together to be a really nice consistency that's easy to blend out onto the skin. So just gonna mix the two together with my finger, and then I just start on one side of my face, and I'm gonna blend it out with the Original Beauty blender. So my foundation is all done. Moving on to concealer, I'll be using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in the Brightener shade, which is the pink tone color. This is nice and fair for my skin tone, but it's definitely too pink for me. So I am going to be applying this directly under my eye. I don't take it down the center of my face because, again, it's just too pink, which only using that little bit of product just right in that area makes this last a lot longer, which is not a bad thing. I don't mind using this product, but I'm going to be mixing this with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair. I'm starting to see through the packaging a bit, which is awesome. I've had this tube for a while and I already have a backup. So I'm just going to do 3 little dots. And then I'm going to take the Tarte through the center of my face as well. Taking the bottom of my beauty blender for the center of my face, and I'm going to take one of the pointed sides here to blend out my concealer. I think this does such a great job. I love the formula of the Maybelline Age Rewind concealer, but they just came out with even a lighter shade. Well, not just came out, actually at the beginning of the year. It's still too dark for me, so I don't have a perfect shade. If they can come out with one even lighter than their lightest shade, that would be amazing because the formula is incredible. To set my under eyes, I'll be using the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. I put a few little sample size jars into this larger NYX jars just to make it easier to use. Then we have the All Over Face Setting Powder. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder. I actually love this a lot. It's not as much of a favorite as my Too Faced Peach Perfect Powder because that one helps keeps me matte, but this just looks so beautiful on the skin. And I'm going to take the other side of that, like this whole side here, to set my whole face. And this just does the perfect job of setting my skin, but it doesn't look too dry. Sometimes the Peach Perfect can look a little dry up on my forehead, but this one just looks amazing. And it sets my skin so nicely. So my go-to winter bronzer would be Benefit Hoola. I've hit some pretty good pan on this one. This is just a really nice neutral undertone for me. So I'm going to put this in the hollows of my cheeks as well as up along my hairline. To contour, I'm going to be using NYX Blush in Taupe. This is one of my first products that I really fell in love with, and I've used one up completely actually. I've also completely used up a Benefit Hoola in the past, and I don't know if I love this one as much as I used to. I don't know if it's a little too gray purpley tone for me. So I'm really going to be testing it out this winter to see what I think of it. So then for blush, we have an item from my project pan. This is a little sample size of theBalm's Cabana Boy Blush. I meant to press this into that little Pixie compact last night, but I totally forgot about it. And I am leaving tonight for our Christmas travels, so I'm just gonna have to wait till I get back. But it has been working fine to just use it out of this because of the brush I use. I'm going to apply it with my Sigma F15 Duo Fiber Blush Brush, so I really am just swirling it around in here. And like ton of pigment. So picking up just a smidge more for the other side and then just going back and forth. So for highlighter, I am going to be using one that is newer to me. This is Ofra's Pillow Talk, which looks really terrifying and very, very pink, but it's like a nice light icy color with a pink undertone. It's not straight up pink, which is nice. And I'm applying it with my Morphe M501. Really pretty. I do like Ofra's highlighters. They just came out with one recently called Star Island, which looks right up my alley. So if next 21 Days of Beauty they have these half off again, I'll get one, but I don't even want to get one for 30% off. I think Ofra products are way, way, way overpriced. So lastly, for face, I will be using my NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. This has lasted me such a long time so far. I just figured I'd be going through this a little bit quicker, and I've been using it every single day. This has 0.60 fluid ounces, so I'm just going to shake it up and spray this all over my face. I think this disperses pretty well. I never have like little globs of setting spray on my skin, which is good news. So now that we are all done with the face, I'm going to zoom you in for the eyes. So I am going to prime my eyes with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. This is all that I have left here. It was getting so difficult to get out, so I figured I would just squeeze out all that I could into this jar. And I'm just going to apply this from lash line to brow bone. So to set my primer, I have a couple shadows that are in my project pan. This first one was actually a product I added into my fall project, and I've actually not put it in the winter project pan, but I've been using it along with my other shadow in my project, so I figured I would show it to you guys. And I just hit pan on it a few days ago, which is so exciting. So this is Extra Creamy from the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette. This is basically just a matte white. So I'm going to continue using that shade probably for a while, definitely through the winter time. So I'm just going to pick it up on the large shader brush from Wet n Wild, and I'm just going to set my brow bone. And then to set the primer in my crease, I am using Urban Decay Strange from the Naked 3 palette. So this is a light cream color with a pinky undertone, and I will be applying that with this Wet n Wild. I never remember it. It's either a crease brush or a blending brush, but I am just going to set the primer in my crease to make my eyeshadows a little easier to blend. So now moving on to the colorful eyeshadows in this project. So for my first transition color, yes, I've got two. My first one, I'll be using Makeup Geek Cupcake. I've hit pretty significant pan on this one. I was panning in this one last year, and I am going to apply that with the Morphe M533 brush just to really blow out this color. And this is a very gray tone taupe color, so I want to add a little bit of that warmth into it as well, which is why I think this color is perfect. So just windshield wiper motions back and forth, and then small circular motions to help buff it out. And then going in with my second transition color, which is in the project. This is NYX Coquette. I did hit pan on this, which is so exciting. That was my goal. I'm going to continue using all four of these eyeshadows until the end of the project, but that is so fantastic. And I am going to apply that with the Morphe R38 brush. So this is not as big and fluffy as the other one. And I'm just going right over top of where I apply Makeup Geek Cupcake. So we're mixing a more pinky shade with a more purpley shade to get a really good combination, I think. Then I'm going to apply a cream base on my lid. I'll be using the Mally Shadow Stick Extra in the shade Autumn Shimmer. I don't really know how to describe this color, but I really like pairing it with my more taupey shades, even though this is a little bit more warm than a taupe, but seems to work out nicely for me. So I'm just going to draw this all over my lid. So then for my lid color, I will be using Urban Decay's YDK. I have it in a single in their very old packaging. This is one of the oldest eyeshadows in my collection, which is part of why I went to try to hit pan on this one. I'm going to pack this on my lid with my MAC 239 flat shader brush. I feel like I have such a nice dip and I'm so close to hitting pan. Hopefully it will happen over this winter break. That would be never mind. I just hit pan right now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's so exciting. Yay. All right. So now I'm just going to pack it on my lid. This one is so intense and metallic. I absolutely love it. So I'm just trying to press it on my lid right over that cream shadow stick. Now moving on to my crease color, I'm using Urban Decay YDK. This is also in the Naked 2 palette, but I got the single first, so I'd like to hit pan on this one. It's also pretty old in my collection. I have a good dip. I don't think I'll be hitting pan on this one today, but who knows. And I will be applying it with the Morphe R39 brush. And this one is just a little bit more gray and not as much of a purpley taupe as I would like, but I think all four of these eyeshadows pair really nicely together. So I'm just going to focus this in the outer corner, outer part of the crease, just blending back and forth. Now I'm going to take a little bit more of Urban Decay's YDK, and I'm going to pick this up on my finger and press it onto the lid to get even more intensity. So look at the before and after. I don't know if you guys can tell a difference, but I definitely can. This one looks a little bit more intensely pigmented and metallic. So typically I do wear liner and a mascara with this look, but I really just don't feel like putting liner on today. So I am just going to apply some mascara. So I'm going to do that, zoom out, and we will apply the lip color. Here are the eyes look like all complete. For mascara, I use the Benefit They're Real Tinted Lash Primer, Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir Mascara, and the Lancome Definicils Mascara. For lips, I'll be using the NARS Velvet Lip Glide in the shade Bound. So I was having the hardest time getting product out of here, so I removed the stopper and now it's a complete mess, but I'm glad I did because there were a couple of days I was using this where it was just the lightest tint of product to my lips, and I was confused because I thought this was very pigmented, and it is, but it's just that the stopper was like too big or took off too much product for this little size. Like, look how thick and gloopy and globby it is. So I try my best to scrape it off. And this is my final look. That has been my go-to look for a day-to-day basis for work using all of my project pan items. I would love to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.